Why do I still use the Fujifilm X-Pro1? Well, simply, it's a beauty. And the question, why still use the X-Pro1, now there's an X-Pro2 and a whole bunch of other Fujifilm bodies that are newer, have better tech inside them. It's indicative of the gear acquisition syndrome, or even the lust for an upgrade that a lot of us photographers are not immune to. So let me just tell you why I still use this and why this camera has been used at weddings that I've shot for a couple of years now, including this year, even with better bodies on the market. Plain and simple, it shoots great images and it's reliable. The autofocus is the one thing that most people quote when they say, well, I want the later model, the newer model, the autofocus is just no good. Well, the firmware was updated ages ago and it improved on that, and while it's still not super fast, it's still not at the level that it's not supposed to be at, of your Canons and your Nikons, your full frames, your top end gear in that range, it still does a great job. In fact, for those of us that grew up with manual photography, that started shooting professionally with medium formats, Mamiyas, twin lens reflexes, old 35mm cameras, the apparently slow autofocus of this X-Pro1 isn't really an issue at all, especially in something like weddings and even more so in simple portrait shoots. So let me just run through what I love about this camera. As you can see, I'm using it with a 56mm 1.2 lens, which I find balances nicely with this body. This camera feels good in the hand, although it is a bit of a block, it's still nice. In fact, it feels like a workhorse without being massive like the full frame Nikons, Canons, etc., which are great cameras, don't get me wrong. The dials on the top are super easy to use, especially the exposure compensator. It's easy to select your shutter speed. Now, I use an X-T1 and an X-T10, and the viewfinder is central on those bodies, but I'm used to this. I know when I pick this up, it quite clearly feels different in the hand, and I just move across to look through the viewfinder, whereas obviously with the X-T1, X-T10, I pick it up and I'm straight in the middle. So if you're not used to it, you might straight away go to middle, but then find you've just got to shift across. That's not a big deal. This doesn't have classic chrome, which isn't a problem for me at the moment, and I'm still getting great images that I'm really, really happy with, even though I can't get the classic chrome in there. Now I'm shooting JPEG plus RAW. I'm almost totally using the JPEGs at weddings. This year I'm finding I'm not touching the RAWs at all, and that includes with this, and I'm using it on Astia at the moment. And because I'm mainly using this for portraits or a few longer shots compared to the 18mm and the 35mm on the other bodies, I'm finding Astia is working out nicely for me. Now, this technically now is my third body at a wedding next to the X-T1 and the X-T10, but it's still fantastic. It's nice and simple. It still has a nice big screen, still has the buttons where you need them to be. There's no argument about the D-ring, I think that's what it's called. That's easy to press, but that's not a massive problem for me on the X-T1. On the X-T10, that was resolved anyway. You can pick up this body for dirt cheap, probably just a few £100, as opposed to getting the latest, greatest X-Pro2. I've had a little play with it and it is amazing, but this is well worth a few £100 compared to the £1,200 for the X-Pro2, the latest model. Of course, the latest model has twin card slots. This just has the one, but then so does my X-T1, so does my X-T10. Not too much else to say really about this X-Pro1. I know there's videos on YouTube where people waffle on about it for absolutely ages, but quite simply, it shoots amazing photographs, JPEGs included. It's a Fujifilm X series body, so of course it does. So it's really a no-brainer. If you're not looking to shoot anything particularly fast, especially if you're used to manual photography. The autofocus won't be a problem. The image quality will be right up there. You won't be disappointed. If you know how to shoot, this will do the job for you. Now, of course, you might want to get your hands on one and see if it feels good in your hands, and that goes with all the bodies out there, all the top range of cameras. You want to just get them in your hands and have a proper good play with them. Maybe hire it out or borrow one off a friend first of all, or go into the shop or the photo show with your own SD card. If they let you, put it in, shoot away as much as you can get away with, take the card back home and check out the files. But if I'm honest, just pick up the X-Pro1, especially if you're not looking to pay £1,200. You could definitely shoot weddings on X-Pro1s only. Leave a comment below with your experiences, if it's pro or against. If you think there's a reason why not to get the X-Pro1, leave a comment below. But please don't mention the autofocus. It's old. So it's just a brief video, really to encourage conversation. Get down in the comments below. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you're using with your X-Pro1, or if you think that even an XE1, XE2 has similar value. Again, different style camera, I would say. This one is definitely the one. Don't think about it for video at all. Most of the Fujis are not really made for videos. Although if it's a standard setup, studio sort of video vlogging style, static, you might be happy with that too. But yeah, love this X-Pro1, and I'll repeat it again. Why do I use the X-Pro1? Even though it's an old body, it produces fantastic images and it's reliable. And of course, if you haven't bought one yet, it's dirt cheap. Thanks for watching.